The 2025 Formula One season may have just ended, but the race for 2026 has already begun. Just 48 hours after Lando Norris was crowned world champion, the Yas Marina Circuit was alive again with the sound of F1 engines for the annual postseason test. This was not just a final run-out for the teams. It was a crucial day of testing that gave us a fascinating look into the future of the sport, while also celebrating the heroes of the present and showcasing the stars of tomorrow. The day was split into two main jobs for each team. The first, and arguably most important, was preparing for the massive rule changes in 2026. Each team had one car, known as a mule car, dedicated to testing the new Pirelli tires that will be used in that new era. The second job was the young driver test, where each team ran a second car for a rookie driver with limited F1 experience. This created a busy and interesting dynamic on track, with established stars and hopeful youngsters sharing the same piece of asphalt. 20 cars in total were out on the circuit, making it a full and productive day for everyone involved. The biggest headline from a technical perspective came from the Mercedes garage. They gave the world a sneak peek at one of the most exciting new technologies for 2026, active aerodynamics. Their car was fitted with a special front wing that could change its shape on the straights. This is a key feature of the 2026 rules, designed to reduce drag and make the cars faster and more efficient. It was the first time a team has run such a system in public, and it was a clear sign of how advanced their preparations are. Young Italian driver Kimi Antonelli was tasked with putting the new system through its paces, and he did an incredible job, completing 157 laps more than anyone else and setting the fastest time among the 2026-style mule cars. Mercedes will be hoping this early work gives them an advantage when the new regulations come into force. To understand the testing, you need to know what a mule car is. Because the 2026 cars will be so different, especially in terms of downforce, teams cannot just use their 2025 cars to test the new tires. The 2026 regulations are all about making the cars lighter, faster in a straight line, and more fuel efficient. But this comes at a cost: less downforce and less grip through the corners. So they create these mule cars by modifying their current machines. They fit them with smaller wings and adjust the ride height to simulate the lower grip levels of the 2026 cars. This gives Pirelli, the tire manufacturer, the data it needs to build safe and effective tires for the new regulations. It also means the lap times set by these mule cars are not representative of their true pace. They are much slower than the regular 2025 cars because they have been deliberately handicapped. This is why the final timesheet was topped by a rookie. American driver Jack Crawford, driving for Aston Martin, set the fastest time of the day with a 1:23.766. He was driving a standard 2025 car, which has much more downforce and grip than the mule cars. This allowed him and the other young drivers to set much faster times than the established F1 stars. Paul Aaron finished second for Alpine, and Luke Browning was third for Williams. It is a great moment for these young drivers to see their names at the top of the timing sheets, even if they know the context. For them, it is valuable experience and a chance to impress the team bosses. While the future was on display, the present was also being celebrated. Lando Norris, fresh from his championship victory, was back in his McLaren for one last time in 2025. He wore a special gold helmet to celebrate his title, a brilliant touch that marked the end of his incredible season. He was still using his number 4, saving the champion's number 1 for the 2026 season. Norris spent the morning helping with the Pirelli tire test, providing valuable feedback from a driver who knows the car better than anyone. It was a fitting end to a year that saw him finally reach the pinnacle of motorsport. His teammate Oscar Piastri took over for the afternoon, continuing the work and gathering more data for the team. The test also marked a new beginning for several drivers. Isaac Hodger, who will step up to the main Red Bull team in 2026, had his first official outing with the team. It was a big moment for the young Frenchman as he begins to integrate with the team that has dominated the sport for so long. Similarly, British teenager Arvid Lindblad got his first run with the Racing Bulls team, where he will make his F1 debut next year at just 18 years old. These first days are all about learning names, understanding procedures, and building relationships that will be vital for the season ahead. the teams also get a chance to see how their new signings adapt to the car and the working environment. Dino Beganovic raced for Ferrari, leaving the seat during the afternoon to start preparing for his new challenge at Dams Racing in Formula 2. His old seat at Ferrari was filled by Lewis Hamilton for the afternoon session, who was looking to end a difficult first year with the Scuderia on a positive note. Hamilton has said he will completely disconnect from Formula 1 over the winter, so this was his final duty before the break. Alpine ran Pierre Gasly in the mule car, while young drivers Paul Aron and Kush Maini shared duties in the second car. Aston Martin used reserve driver Felipe Drugovich for the mule car work, while Jack Crawford impressed in the young driver car. However, not everyone was present. Max Verstappen, who ended his season with a win in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, decided to skip the test and start his holiday early. He had joked that he was fortunate to be able to miss it. Fernando Alonso and George Russell also opted out, giving their teams a chance to run other drivers. After a grueling 24-race season, it is understandable that some drivers wanted to take a well-deserved break. Frederick Vesti handled the full day for Mercedes in place of Russell, completing 145 laps. As with any test day, there were a few hiccups. Haas had a difficult end to their new chapter with Esteban Ocon, who managed only 4 laps due to a technical issue. It was a frustrating closing for the Frenchman, who will be hoping for a greater season with the American team next year. There was also a brief red flag when Rio Haryanto spun his car into the barrier at turn 1, damaging the rear wing. The car was quickly recovered, and he was able to continue later on. The young driver test also gave us a look at some interesting names. Pato O'Ward, the IndyCar star, got more F1 running with McLaren, continuing to build his case for a future seat, and Ayumu Iwasa impressed for Racing Bulls. These tests are crucial for young drivers who are trying to break into Formula 1 or secure their place on the grid. In the end, the Abu Dhabi postseason test was a perfect summary of where Formula 1 is right now. It was a day of looking forward to an exciting new era in 2026, celebrating the champion of 2025, and giving the next generation of stars a chance to shine. The work never stops in F1, and while the teams and drivers will now take a short break, this test has given them a huge amount of data to work with as they prepare for the challenges ahead. Preseason testing will begin in late January, and the 2026 season will kick off in Australia in March. The countdown has already begun.